Hello and welcome. I am DEJI360. Now, what would have ordinarily passed off for a normal operational exigency in the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, and the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria, Faan, is generating a lot of controversy in Nigeria. Recently, the management of the CBN decided to move some departments of the Apex Bank to Lagos for operational reasons. But that decision is now generating controversy in the country. And of course, some have interpreted it as a surreptitious move to relocate the headquarters of the bank from Abuja to Lagos. In a similar vein, an internal memo issued last week by Faan's managing director Olubunmi Kuku disclosing that Nigeria's aviation minister Festus Keyamo had directed the relocation of Faan headquarters to Lagos is also generating similar controversy. This is despite explanations from the minister that the relocation of the headquarters of Faan is to ensure seamless operations and save cost. Even the chairman, Senate Committee on the Army, Senator Alin Dume, has spoken on the issue, warning that there will be political consequences if the government insists on moving some CBN departments and Faan headquarters to Lagos. Also, the Arewa Consultative Forum has alleged that the moves are part of a deliberate plot to underdevelop the North. The government has since issued a statement denying it is planning to move the country's capital to Lagos. Joining me now to discuss this is Umar Kalgo, who is the Secretary, Nigeria Bar Association, Birnin Kebbi branch. He joins us, of course, from Birnin Kebbi. Also joining us is Nelson Ekojimi, who is the Executive Director, Committee now for the Protection of People's Mandate. Gentlemen, thank you very much for coming on the program, and thanks a lot for your time. Let me start with you, Mr. Kalgo. What exactly, why is this issue generating so much controversy? Why has it become such a contentious issue?
It's my pleasure to be on this program. I think it is indeed a very vital issue in Nigeria, politically, and also you can say administratively and even legally, so to say. Because as you can see, the issue of capital of Nigeria is one that through history, it was formerly Lagos. Because now, and it is now later, we have Abuja as our federal capital territory. There was, even at that time, you can see, is an issue between, you can say, before it is in western part of Nigeria and later by our constitution, because even the 1992 constitution is just cementing what is already there in the former constitutions of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, maybe starting from 1979, bringing it to North. So if I may say the political issue, let me undertone it to some of the political events in this country. During the time of Abiola's campaign, I remember very well, there are a lot of political insinuations that are being, used in the campaign back then here in the North, that one of the agenda would be, if he come to power, to relocate, the federal capital territory to Lagos. Although what eventually happened was that the people do not took up to that because he greatly won in the North. But I'm just telling you to know that it is a political issue between the western part of Nigeria and indeed the northern part of Nigeria. So that I can say is a political relic, if you like, in that way. But for me, I would say for Lagos, Lagos has not gone down on its reputation by the moving of the capital to the federal capital territory, because even today, if you talk, Lagos is still the financial capital of Nigeria. And in terms of, city, there's no city like Lagos in Nigeria. So Lagos to Nigeria is both what maybe California and
okay.
New York.
Okay, but let me just cut in here. So, sorry to interject, but what exactly, because I'm just trying to understand, what exactly is the big deal in moving a unit or two or some units of the Central Bank of Nigeria, for instance, like the Banking Supervision Unit, to move it to Lagos? How does that translate to moving the CBN to Lagos?
Okay, what I want, you see, I have talked about the political issue, which is just political. Everyone can tag with it. But the issue of relocation, I think for the CBN, this is a legal issue indeed, because unlike other governmental institutions that we have, Section 3 is explicit. Section 3 of the CBN Act is explicit. It said that the headquarters of the CBN should be within the Federal Capital Territory of Nigeria.
Yes.
And in that section, it also explicitly provided that yes, branches can be established in any parts of Nigeria, and also agents and other things can be appointed. But even appointed, such should come by the decision of the board of the CBN, which has to be created. So I would say, if you look at it legally, what that section have provided is that the headquarters, the head office, the corporate headquarters should be in Abuja, and there can be branches. So for me, I would say every administrative, project or scheme that the central bank could take could do it without raising such a fuss by saying that the head of the offices have been relocated, because it will have this political undertone that we are having now.
Yeah, and the question is,
the way I see it,
now the question is this political undertone, is it necessary? Is it even correct to have this political undertone? Because the headquarters of the CBN is still the Federal Capital Territory anyway.
Well, if you understand me very well, the section I have provided that branches can be opened and agents can be appointed. What are you saying? What we have in Lagos, is it a branch? Talking about the legal. So I'm saying, well, it has gone to play in the hand of politics. If we stay with the legal means, I think we will not be talking about relocating some departments, the head of departments, to other places, or relocating the departments altogether. That's what I would say. But for the political undertone, you will always have them. But I would say they are just a relic of the past. They don't. So they are just grandeur relics that we have in minds and we carry along. But now the location of this department, what should it add to Lagos in terms of its status?
But is it about? Okay, I'm going to come to you anyway. But let me go to you, Nelson. You look at all of this debate. The impression one tends to get is that it's like if you move a department now to Lagos, it's like moving that department adds something to Lagos. But take the issue of banking supervision, for instance. The CBN has explained virtually all the banks in this country have their headquarters in Lagos, and the CBN wants that department now to be here in Lagos. In fact, I'm also aware that the CBN has a very huge office in Lagos. So should this generate all the kind of political undertones that it is generating at the moment?
Well, thank you very much for having me. What is at play shows the level of irresponsibility by our political elites, as well as our elites in other fields. Because don't forget, like Mr. Omar Kalgo rightly said, this is a relic of the past. You recollect that when former President Muhammadu Buhari was, aspiring, some persons went on air, and even till he left office, claiming that, the man was going to Islamize Nigeria, was going to Fulanize Nigeria. And, till the man left office, some of us continue to ask those who were peddling this ludicrous statement that, can you please point to one street or local government in Nigeria that former President Muhammadu Buhari in 8 years Fulanized or Islamized? So the relocation of these CBN units as well as the Faan headquarters is being done by the agencies involved. It's not even the federal government, because these are agencies of states that have a board and a management team. And if the agency in their wisdom have thought it fit that for operational efficiency, like Mr. Kago rightly said, Lagos is the economic hub of the country, and it is imperative on central bank to be closer, like we say in the economics, accessibility to raw materials. The raw materials for that office to function, effectively is domiciled in Lagos. So about 2 or 3 units out of maybe 10 or maybe 15 units does not in any way take away the fact that the headquarters of the CBN, remains in Abuja. And, people have also gone the way we did during the election. People should recognize that this is the time for governance and rather than politicking. We politicize everything under the sun. We politicize even the security of human lives. That shows the quality of people that we are. And for me, it's rather absurd and, unacceptable that because the CBN has decided to relocate some units for operational efficiency. Don't forget, the reasons for doing that is out there in the public domain. And the aviation minister has directed the relocation of Faan. Even aviation unions have come up publicly to applaud the minister's action. And when people talk about, we're relocating to Lagos, Lagos is peopled by Nigerians from all walks of life as well as people from, other countries. If the unit is in Lagos, does it mean only the people of Lagos will benefit? Absolutely no. That unit or that operations of the bank is for the betterment of the Nigerian economy and the Nigerian people. So I wonder why we have, we always politicize things that could make our lives better, that could secure a prosperity for us. And for me, it's rather sad that some persons have decided to politicize this logical actions being taken by these agencies, because I insist this relocation is by the CBN, it's not by the federal government. The relocation of Faan is by the Ministry of Aviation, which is an arm of the federal. There are 1,001 agencies who are domiciled in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory. And there's nothing in law that says those agencies or those ministry departments and agencies cannot relocate a unit or department to any part of the country. Mr. Cargo rightly alluded to that in his, in his submission earlier on.
Mr. Cargo, let me ask you this. This whole debate, when you hear statements like, the government is trying to underdevelop the North by moving some departments of some departments of the CBN and the Faan headquarters to Lagos and all of that, it sends the impression that the Federal Capital Territory actually belongs to the North. But what I understand is that, look, the Federal Capital Territory belongs to everyone. It doesn't belong to any section of this country. I don't know if you want to react to that.
Well, I want to react to that, but I have to correct some misconception. Mr. Nelson, I am not saying that the relocation is correct in law. No, that's what I'm saying. You see, I precisely refer to Section 3. I'm taking this both separately because in the Faan issue, the Faan Act does not have a specific section that stated that the headquarters must be in the Federal Capital Territory. So that is, so what I'm trying to say from the section I read, which says that the headquarters of the CB in Section 3 of the Act said that it should be in the Federal Capital Territory. And it allows for branches and maybe agents that can be appointed by the board. What I'm trying to say is that it is explicit, it is very clear that they're supposed to be in Abuja, in the Federal Capital Territory.
But of course, they're in Abuja. What
I'm now saying is that, please let me finish.
Okay.
What I'm saying now is, if now they say they have moved departments, you see, departments do not equate to what branches. That's where the issue is. So what I would say is it is an unnecessary thing that was announced, and I believe this one, as it is so clear. And now the other reason you are talking about that most of the headquarters of the banks are in Lagos. And I think it is not the regulatory body that will be pursuing, the operators in the system. I believe if the headquarters of the CBN is in Abuja and it affects the banks, they would have moved to Abuja since. Look at the level. Now look at what you are doing. You are in Lagos, and I'm in Benin Kebbi, and we are having this discussion. And even both our media, the news. So this is what I'm trying to say.
Okay, can I just ask you this?
As far as I can see, the law is stating that particularly to the CBN, that they should be in the, Federal Capital Territory.
Okay.
This will not deter them from boosting the
let me ask you
of the branch in Lagos to Qatar, as it would have been better for the governance of the banks in Nigeria.
So in essence, are you saying, or are you by any means implying that the movement of these departments actually benefits one side of the country to the detriment of the other side? Is that what you're trying to say?
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm trying to say, yes, it can. You see, we talk about political issues, isn't it? Now, the Federal Capital Territory being moved to the center of Nigeria, Abuja, which is part of the old northern region of Nigeria. You know, politically, it will have effect on that side. So these are just political issues, as you can see. But since that is the Federal Capital Territory, and we have a section like this, when some things happen like this, people will talk. And when they talk, and even they have a backing, like the Section 3 of the CBN, it's become more stronger because it goes beyond just a political issue. It can be underscored by the law as well. So this is what I'm trying to say. It's not about affecting, it's about operating the system we have as it should be. Yes.
Okay, you want to react to the question I asked about the status of the Federal Capital Territory. Does it belong to any side at all? It belongs to all sides. It belongs to everybody. So go on.
It belongs to everybody. It belongs to everybody, no doubt about it. You can see the Federal Capital Territory of Nigeria by Section 298 of the Constitution shall be the capital of the Federation. Capital of the Federation and the seat of government of the Federation. That's it. And that's how, it's not for the benefit of anyone.
The reason I ask that question is because when I hear groups like the Arewa Consultative Forum saying that, look, the movement of some branches translates to the underdevelopment of the North and all of that, you tend to get the impression that their belief is that the Federal Capital Territory belongs to the North, so to speak. It sort of belongs to the entire country and all of us. But let me get your reaction to this, Nelson.
Well, you have right.
Okay, I will respond now.
Painted it so simply that the Federal Capital Territory, like we all know, belongs to all Nigerians, and no part of the country should claim ownership of that capital. And don't also forget that the Federal Capital Territory is peopled by Nigerians from different ethnic nationalities. So, and even though we recognize that Abuja itself belongs to some indigenous people, is the ancestral home of some forces, we should not run away from the fact that the reason for the relocation of the Federal Capital Territory from Lagos to Abuja is to make the location of the seat of government to be central so that it is not seen as being swayed to one particular ethnic nationality. But be that as it may, I think it is laughable in this age and time that the people are politicizing operational efficiency of institutions of state that are there to service the national economy rather than service the economy of any particular region. We talk about the economic hub of Nigeria, for example, and Mr. Kago talked about we having a conversation because of internet or because of technology. But you should also recognize that at times this technology do fail. And if you are supervising or monitoring, some bodies, it also builds on you at any point in time to be able, to have the accessibility to, just look into what they are doing at any point in time, rather than waiting endless times, to incur costs. Because one of the factors that has, brought about this relocation also has to do with the fact that the officers in that department have to travel every now and then from Abuja back to Lagos. And you look at the facilities that the CBN has in Lagos. Those facilities are just there, they are wasting away. And if, relocating these units to the former Federal Capital Territory, former capital Lagos, will make for proper efficiency and development of the Nigerian economy. I think that should be uppermost in the mind of any Nigerian rather than this continuous, ethnic, sentiments that we peddle on everything under the sun. This is not, the right way to go at all, if you ask me.
Mr. Kalgo, let me ask you this. You look at the headquarters of NIMASA, that's the Nigerian Maritime Agency now. The headquarters of NIMASA is in Lagos. That is not generating any controversy. The headquarters of the Ports Authority is in Lagos. It's not generating any controversy. The headquarters of the local, is it the local content board? I think it's in Yenagoa, the Bayelsa state capital. It's not. Why is that of the CBN and Faan generating this much controversy?
I think it will be wrong to say that they have not raised any issue. Back then they have, since 1999. I have listened to the discussion of the chairman of the board of trustees of Arewa Consultative Forum. He has gone back to history and raised this issue since 1999. But that said, you see, I want us to understand something. When we talk of political issues and social issues, these are trappings that no people can go vacuum. They are everywhere. Let me give you an example. Now, Lagos at the center of excellence and commercial center of Nigeria. Is this not a pride to the Western people, every people, Lagosians or anyone? Does it not add pride to them? It does. When you talk of the East, the most industrious people, and in terms of innovation, commerce, and what have you, it adds. And now, when the capital is situated in the northern, it has that kind of effect to the people of the north. This is what I want you to understand. So these are just trappings that are political, social, that no one is in vacuum to them. And if we are to be sincere, I believe it goes round. Anyone has similar things to be very proud of as a region in this country or as a tribe in this country, if we are true to look at them. So this is what I would say pertaining to those issues. They should be understood from that line. I think the issue of Masa, it has the back end, it has. But the ones we are discussing currently are this.
Yeah.
And I respond, I believe even then. So they are seeing that it's just a continuation of what maybe some people have been saying before, and it has not been taken. They are seeing it. That's what the politicians are now looking at and even blowing it to whatever proportions you talk about. This said, I want everyone to understand, nobody is saying that the central bank should be hamstrung not to be operational. No, that's not the case. I mean, whatever department we are talking about that was moved to Lagos, it can still have every expert that is needed to be placed in Lagos, but the head office should be with the headquarters. This is just what we are trying to say.
I get your point. I get your point. Well, if you ask me, Nelson, even if you move the entire headquarters of any government agency to any even,
part of the country,
to even the remotest part of the remotest part of this country, so long as that agency is doing its work,
doing its work perfectly,
and making money for this country.
Yes, absolutely. And the movement of these departments or units does not in any way take away the headquarters of CBN from Abuja. Likewise, the same thing for for Faan. It's just that for operational efficiency, don't forget, those institutions have a mandate to fulfill. And if we want to hold them accountable, we should also be prepared to give them the tools with which to work. And part of the tools with which to perform their functions efficiently is this relocation. And, the economic, well-being of the Nigerian people should be uppermost in anybody's mind rather than this politicization of a purely economic and administrative process.
All right, gentlemen, I want to thank you very much for coming on the program and for sharing your insights, brilliant insights now with us. Thank you so much, Umar Kalgo, for your time. Umar Kalgo, by the way, is the Secretary of the Nigerian Bar Association Nigerian Bar Association, that's Birmingham Kebbi branch. And then Nelson Ekujimi, of course, who is the Executive Director, Committee for Protection of People's Mandate. Gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. All right, we'll take a short break and we'll be right back. Stay with us, don't go away.
Opinions are free, facts are sacred, but truth is universal.
How, in practical terms, can we, for instance, de-escalate the tension?
President must see himself as the President of the Federal Republic.
We know where the enemy is. 3 places. The Lake Chad Basin, the border area between Nigeria and Cameroon, and then the Sambisa Forest.
On DEJI360, we give you a complete dose of everything. Opinion, facts, and undiluted truth.
I hardly believe what politicians say in this part of the world.
A new Nigeria is possible, a future is possible.
We delve into the issues, dissect it so that you can understand it, and use it to take action.
I don't think there's any need for any governor to look for grant for ranching.
DEJI360, dissecting the issues.